When you machine engine surfaces and add aftermarket parts, you're probably going to need custom push rods. Here's how to measure for the correct length.
2 Minute Tech is sponsored by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms.
The next pieces in our valve train are these Comp Cams hydraulic roller lifters that we went ahead and soaked in oil. Now let's talk about push rods. Anytime you build a custom engine like this, it's almost impossible to predict the correct length of the push rod. And that's because there's so many different variables, like block deck height, even camshaft base circle, and the list goes on and on. Now before we show you how to get the right length for your motor, here's a look at why it's so critical. Stamped steel rockers have a large flat where they make contact with the valve stem, keeping the load on the entire tip of the valve. So correct length is not as critical because the flat on the rocker compensates for the error. On a roller tip rocker, the area that meets the valve stem is very narrow. If you miss the correct length by just a little, you'll get tremendous valve guide and seal wear. To find the correct pushrod length, you're gonna need an adjustable pushrod checker and some Dychem machinist die. Now this job is so easy, a monkey in a sack can do it. First, mark the valve stem with the Dychem. Now drop the checking tool into place. Install the rocker arm, followed by the adjustment nut. Next, extend the push rod so that the tip of the rocker is centered over the valve stem. Finally, rotate the crankshaft 3 rotations. This will wear a pattern into the die on the valve stem. After that first round, it looks like our push rod was a little too short. The wear line into the Dychem is above the center of the valve stem, so we'll lengthen the push rod checking tool and bring it down to center. Repeat the same steps as before until the wear mark is centered on the valve stem. Of course, after measuring the checking tool, you'll have the correct length to order a set and get them on its way. Now I went ahead and called Comp Cams in order to set a high-tech 3/8 push rods that measure in at 8/200. With the rocker arms in place, I'm going to adjust the valves a half a turn past zero lash.